Alright, so for today's video, we are opening a set that I saw come out and never saw on shelves, and that's the, Origin Form Dialga V-Star Premium Collection, as well as the Palkia one. I got two of each, and the only reason I picked this up was because it had Chilling Rain in it and Lost Origins. So, Lost Origins, Astral Radiance, Brilliant Stars, all those sets, Crown Zenith have the Trainer Gallery, the Galarian Gallery in Crown Zenith, packs or subset inside of those packs. So I really love the Trainer Gallery cards, and that's kind of the main topic of this video. And then, of course, you guys know Chilling Rain. I had Chilling Rain Sundays. I haven't been able to pick up any more Chilling Rain because it's just been really hard to get for MSRP, and I ended up finding these for as close to MSRP as possible. These premium collections are $45 each, and they have really good packs in them, but unfortunately it looks like one of these packs was resealed because I pulled two reverse hollows out of it. I could check the code card, but I'm unsure. So anyways, just a little bit of a head scratcher on that. Could have just been mispackaging, no idea. Not going to look that much into it. But I did have fun opening these regardless. And spoiler alert, I don't get the blades again, which is what I'm looking for. But we are here today to talk about the cards that I think are underappreciated, which a lot of those are the Trainer Gallery and Galarian Gallery cards, and that's because they're more common. But if you take a look at their population at PSA, a lot of them have low to no values even at PSA 10s. So these are cards that when I go to shows, I tend to look out for in PSA 10s or raw, where they look like they could very easily become a 10, because I think these cards are underappreciated. And I think in 10 years' time, people are going to wish that they had more of these, just like now we're wishing we had more Mega Pokemon, because we got Megas coming back out this year with the new Mega Evolution set dropping in, I think, September in English. We wish we had more Megas because all the Mega cards in English that released, 2015, 2016, those are all going up in price. And the only thing that you can find now for a reasonable price is Generations, and they printed so much of that you're basically getting overcharged for XY Generations. And we, or at least myself, quit looking at cards once we got the break cards, like the Lugia break, Arcanine break, the gold, like, half cards that I know I wasn't a fan of, and a lot of people didn't like during the XY era. And then they did the really cool mega cards, and people wish they had those. And that's also when Tag Team came out, and Tag Team is worth so much now. Those break cards will eventually see their day where people are like, wow, these all gold Lugia or all gold Ho-Oh cards are really cool. Why didn't people collect more of these? Because we didn't like them. Because they're ugly. I think they're ugly. Like, the designs are cool, I just don't like a sideways card like that. The full arts that they do now are what breaks should have been, and would have been like so much better. But yeah, so these are cards that I think are going to be that next wave of, not tag team per se, but the next wave of, like, holy cow, these cards are underappreciated and they're doing really well. One that I see a lot of people talk about, if you guys watch the guy that does Randolph from Ace Grading, I can't think of his channel name. He talks about the Obsidian Flames Charizard all the time. Anytime he sees it, he picks it up. I think he's right. I think that's one of those that's like, you need to pick that card up if you see it, because it's so cheap. It's like $50. That's the hit of the set. There's no point in opening Obsidian Flames. I would, if you pick up Obsidian Flames, definitely keep it sealed, because it's got a horrible hit rate, and you're not going to get what you want. You're not going to get your money back for it, because like 50, 60, 70 bucks for an ETB, and the most expensive card is a $50 card plus the $20 promo, so you would just break even on a $70 ETB if you bought it at market price. So if you get Obsidian Flames, keep it sealed, but if you see the cards that you want while they're cheap, pick them up. The Cleffa from Obsidian Flames is amazing. I've always said that, like, for another Latios Lovebirds card, you have to have, like, a pretty card about a Pokemon that people care about. Cleffa isn't something that people really care about. Like if that card would have been, in my opinion, Jirachi with that same kind of art, I think it would go really hard, and I think that would be like an instant classic, and that would probably be hit of the set, and that one would be very expensive in 10 years. Cleffa, not so much. I think it's a really pretty card, so anytime I see them for like 10, 15 bucks, I pick one up. They're cheap, they're pretty. They were going for like $5 a year ago. It's a great card. If you have a bunch of them from then, good on you, because like that's definitely like one of the big hits in that set for me personally. The other one would be Ninetales. It's a very pretty card, really really good artwork, and then of course Charizard. So Obsidian Flames has those three cards that are like those big cards, and I think for another Lovebirds card, you need to have a pretty card with a Pokemon that people really love. And I don't think we would see anything close to Latias and Latios unless it was like evolutions. It would have to be evolutions in a card, like a full art trainer or something that had both of them in it. Or if they brought tag teams back, it would have to be something to that effect. Because we see cards that have two Pokemon in it, whether they're Lovebirds or they're fighting like the Venusaur and Charizard, go for lots and lots of money. So you kind of need to have two Pokemon in that card. And really, right now, we don't have a whole lot of that. I think the closest ones we have are like Mew from Paldean Fates that has some things on the side. We have the V Star or Mewtwo V Star, and then the Charizard V Star where they're fighting. You got the different Pokemon in the corners. There are some cards that have that storytelling in it in two different cards. You're not having one story being told in one card, like the Venusaur versus Charizard or like the Latias Latios Lovebirds. So again, there's tons of cards out there that are really underappreciated. Those are just to name a few. I want to throw some up on screen that I really want to invest in personally, just because I like the cards. They're undervalued. I think the trainer galleries cards are some of the best cards that Pokemon has released in a long time. Same thing with the Galarian galleries. And I really wish that I had stuck through the craziness that was Champion's Path so I could have gotten some of these cards when they were dropping. And I just kind of left the hobby and then came back for Scarlet and Violet. And then, of course, it got bad again. And I'm deciding that I'm just going to tough it and hope that it ends up well for me, because I've already seen some of the cards that I thought were really nice go up in value. One of those being Inzresh Ram. That was my favorite card from Journey Together set. I bought one for I think the Japanese one I bought for like $15. I bought that and the Inzora card. They're $15, and then I picked up a Journey Together one for I think 10 or 12 in English. It's already went up to 20. I was looking for the stamp. I actually found the stamp, was going back to get it, kind of forgot about it, and now it's already went up in price. So like that's one of those cards that I think like people don't appreciate for some reason. It's a really pretty card. People are under appreciating some of these beautiful artworks on these cards, and like we're already seeing the effect of them go up like right in front of our face, and these are like really nice cards that there's no reason they should be valued that low. I get Journey Together was not a popular set. Personally, it's my favorite from the Scarlet Violet era, other than probably Surging Sparks. Destined Rival is really good too, but I think I like Journey Together and Surging Sparks the most. 151 would be next, and then Destined Rivals. Not a big prismatic guy. Horrible hit rates. Um, and then I think Black Bolt and White Flare will probably make it to my top three. I might have to boot Destined Rivals down. But Journey Together, I feel like just has underappreciated cards. There's the Clefairy, which I know was going for like $1,000, and now it's like $100. Like it's dropped down like 90% in value. That's one of those cards that's like might be worth something. I haven't looked at the population of the graded on those, but like the population on the Cleffa from Obsidian Flames, nobody's grading those. There's not a lot of 10s. Has a low gem rate, lower than Lovebirds. And Lovebirds is like in the set. It's not a secret rare, illustration rare, or anything like that. Like it's not a numbered card after the main set number. Like it's in there. And then same thing goes for Ninetales. It's a SIR, has a lower gem rate. There's more of them, I think, but That's just another example. Same thing with both of the Gardevoir cards from Astral Radiance and Silver Tempest. They are both like extremely low value. They're like raw or in a PSA 10. There's not that many of them graded. They have a low gem rate. Like, that's what people need to be looking out for in these cards, and that's why we saw the Magikarp from Paldea Evolve skyrocket a couple weeks ago. And I do think some of that's like people just trying to run the market. But like, these are rare cards to get good grades in. Like, I think you have a 20% chance to get a Magikarp in a 10 if you pull a Paldea Evolved Magikarp, just because of how, like, I guess, poor the print quality is. And a lot of I guess, sets do this. So like, one set will come out and it's really easy to get tens in all of those cards because the production quality was high. And then sometimes it seems like they print way too much and the quality is low. Look at some of these awful cuts on Evolving Skies that you've seen, or the awful cuts that you've seen even more recently on Prismatic, where the border's just super wide. Like, those are just a few examples of like, the quality is getting worse when the quantity, there's more in the market because they're producing so fast that they're not getting the errors out quick enough, right? So that's one of those things. Like, those cards will be less likely to 10. Granted, I know there's like a million Sumbrions just because of the fact that that's like the main chase and everyone's sending it off. I get that. So it probably, I haven't looked at it lately, it probably has a higher gem rate than most cards just because people are sending those in the most. But the more that they print of something, the worse the quality is because the quality control just gets out of hand. And when that happens to a set, especially if it was to happen to a smaller set, like, I know it normally happens whenever they're printing too much, but if they just kind of get a little careless and we start getting these small sets that have lots of miscuts, having pristine tins, or not even just pristine by CGC, or not even just Black Label by Backup, but just PSA tins, becomes very valuable because there's not that many of those. And how they evolved is that kind of thing. There, you have like a 1 in 5 chance of every Magikarp being a 10. They have very low gem rate. Magikarp's the biggest hit, or at least one of the biggest hits. And as someone that's opened a good amount of Paldea Evolved, I pulled the Curlia, I've pulled like a couple other things. The cuts on them are bad. I've pulled the Gloom from City of Flames, the Pidgey, two of the Pidgeys, the Pidgeotto. The cuts are all bad. Like, every single time I pull something from Scarlet Violet, it's a bad cut, other than Destined Rivals and Journey Together. Those were like the two that I didn't get bad cuts on. Prismatic was bad. Surging Sparks has been bad. Like, Stellar Crown has been okay. And maybe that's just my luck, but like, looking at it from my perspective, it's, these cards are being printed in mass quantities. The quality of tins are less because there's so many of them, and or so few of them, sorry, that it's kind of creating this thing where like, the raw card, cheap, yeah, PSA 10, worth a lot. And then there's like fan favorite Pokemon that people aren't really talking about. Like, why is Latios from Surging Sparks like $160 raw, but Latios, like the card that goes with it for that picture, so cheap? Like, it might have to do just with the pull rates, right? But like, you need those cards to go together. You could charge more for that Latios and people would probably buy it. And same thing goes for like Terapagos is the big hit from Stellar Crown. It's worth like $50. Like, that set's not worth opening right now. That's one of those cards that I think is quote unquote undervalued, right? Terapagos isn't anyone's favorite yet. Maybe in 20 years, when those kids are kind of the same age that we are when we grew up with, the original 151, the Jotonian 100. Maybe once those kids are our age, they will have the appreciation for Galar and Paldea that we have for Kanto and Johto. And all this to say, like, I've showed off some cards that I think will do well in the future, and I'm not the best at predicting the Pokemon market, right? Like, I didn't predict uh that right after COVID and the spike that it was going to drop off so fast. Like, had I known that, because I stepped completely away from the space, had I known that, I would have stuck with it, because I stepped away because it was too bad to get product. I stepped away, and almost by the same time I stepped away, the scalping had ended, and I could have stuck with it. And like, even a local card shop here was scamming people for celebration packs, and it was bad. Like, it was a bad time to be in the hobby, so I dipped, and I didn't stay with it. And I had tons of I have tons of celebration cards that were worth a lot then that aren't now, because it was, the hot stuff. It was hard to get. Same thing with Chilling Reign. I had some Chilling Reign cards that were way overvalued whenever the cards first came out, and now they're worth, like a decent amount. And honestly, I think cards like that from, again, Chilling Reign, Evolving Skies, like, I know Evolving Skies set is going up. I think people will begin to appreciate some of the lower end hits from those in the next 10 years, just because of how hard it was to hit anything in Chilling Reign and Evolving Skies and Vivid Voltage and Fusion Strikes. Like, it didn't get good until Brilliant Stars, Lost Origins, and I think like Brilliant Stars was like the last set that I actually opened, and I really didn't hit anything out of it. And those are the sets that like have really good hit rates. I mean, they're doing well right now, and they have tons of good cards. And those singles are like, some of them are pretty cheap, like all the ones of Blue and Jolteon, Flareon, Vaporeon. I think it's Bill and Eevee. You have Karen and Umbreon. I forget who's with Espeon, but like, there's cards in there that I think are really slept on. I don't even know the gem rate of those or the population, but for me right now, I've collected any trainer galleries, even duplicates of a lot of those. I'm trying to master set all the trainer galleries and Galarian galleries in one big binder, and then I want some extras because I really love these cards, like the Charizard from is it Astral or is it Silver? It might even be Brilliant Stars with the Galar champ, whose name I'm completely blanking on right now. Leon. Leon and Charizard. Like, there's tons of good cards. And like, we just pass them in the day to day. They're like $10 cards. Some of them are $5, some of them are $2. Like, the full art with the Pikachu and the Duskull, Turtwig, Mareep, Riolu, all that, like the one big art, that is so slept on, in my opinion. It's such a good art set. I'm gonna probably have like a couple. I'm gonna have like a binder just full. Like, the pages are just gonna have that on each page because it's a good set. And like, I personally don't think that every like that's those cards in particular, just because they're babies, are going to be valuable. But I think they're so pretty, and that's the thing that I say all the time. Like, I don't collect expensive cards; I collect pretty cards, and I think there's a lot of crossover. Like, Latios and Latios is a pretty card, and it was a pretty card 10 years ago. Wasn't expensive. Now it is. Well, I mean, it was a little expensive, but nowhere close to what it is now. $6,000 for a PSA 10, and I think people are too focused on these vintage things and like, people are scared of modern because it's dipping. Like, buy the low end stuff. Like, the low end stuff that you see now, that's not going to be available in 10, 20 years. If you're an investor, that's going to be the stuff that's going to help you out the most. This isn't financial advice, by the way. Just my opinion on how I'm doing things. So, yeah, that's basically what this video is. It's just, anytime I see these cards, I'm picking them up. And I actually picked up a trainer gallery the other day that I bought for like $1, and I looked like it was in a sleeve. I didn't care; it was $1. I actually got it home, and it's incredibly damaged. Didn't realize it. Should be worth like 10 cents. And so that's kind of annoying. But hopefully, that card specifically, hopefully in 20 years, that damaged card will be worth, $10. I can make $9 off of it or something, because that is card is rough on the back. It looks like somebody took it and like just rubbed it across sandpaper, and they had it in a Dragon Shield sleeve, so I didn't check it. Which is why I hate those sleeves, because a lot of people don't like you taking their cards out of their sleeves. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. And I got another video coming soon about local card shops and them being scalpers, because they buy from distro and are selling at or above market on product that's less than a year old. But we'll get to that when we get to that. I want to thank you guys for tuning into this video. If you did enjoy, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, because I'm making tons of content on Pokemon, and I would like for it to be to the point to where the hobby pays for itself, and I don't have to spend my money to make the content. I can earn money from YouTube and then put it back into the hobby. That's kind of the idea. So yeah, hopefully that can happen, and it'll only happen with support. So thank you guys for checking out the video. If you did enjoy, like it, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video, whatever it may be. I was a little angry about this.